Hey, it's me, Katie. Today I have a video. It's kind of a follow-up from another video that I've done about what makes these homes unsellable. And these two homes that I've picked, I really am not quite sure what's going on with them. One has been on the market for quite a long time. The other one went on the market just a couple days ago. However, it was listed at $275,000 less than what it's listed now. So was that unsellable then? I don't know. Let's get into it. When I'm looking at homes to review, I really can just go into any home in any part of the country and kind of take a look at them and figure out, what's good, what's bad. Are they going to sell? Maybe they're priced a little high. I don't know. I'm not perfect because I don't know that local market, but a lot of times I can see things that maybe you haven't been able to see just in your kind of amateur, or as I call it, amateur professional eye. So I want to show you this first home. It's in Colorado. So this home caught my eye a little bit because it was originally listed in April of 2024, and you can see that the listing was removed and it was listed at $729,900. So now they went back up on the market in March of 2025. Now, is this unsellable? Well, obviously if they took it off the market before, it was unsellable before, but I want to kind of dig in and take a look at this. Now, it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just means there must be some reason why they raised the price from $729,000 to $1 million. So I want to see, what is this about? All right, so it looks pretty cute. It's 5 bedrooms, 4 baths, 4,200 square feet. Now, I don't know this area, so I don't know if this is priced right, high, low, but let me kind of work through this and see what I see in here. So first of all, I don't love this picture as one of the very first pictures. Usually when I'm trying to list a house, I kind of start with the outside and then I walk in through the house the way you might, like foyer, and then kind of into the living room, the family room, maybe the kitchen, kind of on the first floor. So the order that you put your pictures in is really important. So I don't really love this first inside picture because all of a sudden you're just like in the family room, and I don't really love this picture. And part of the reason I don't love this picture is because there is this gigantic leather couch there. Now, these are very, very comfortable and many people love them. Many people have them in their homes. And, when I have a house that's got something like this in their home, it's fine. It's not great. It just doesn't shoot real well. It doesn't look real trendy, but it doesn't mean it's bad furniture. It doesn't mean you can't use it. I just don't love this picture overall. Now, one thing that people are going to say when they come into this room is, why is the TV above the door? That may be perfect for these people, but it's probably not perfect for a lot of people. And I am thinking that most likely people would put it over the fireplace, but now it's sort of over the door. And it's just a kind of an awkward picture in there. So now remember, this was listed a year prior at $729,000, and now they've raised it to $1 million. So I'm thinking maybe they did a gut remodel, maybe they updated it, I'm not sure. So now what I'm seeing is not really a remodel, but I could be wrong. So this picture is a little bit better than the other one. Again, not a great picture in the family room kitchen. And this is okay too. This is fine. Now, what I'm noticing in there is that you've got the two different styles of flooring in there. You've got this tile, and then you've got the hardwood here, and then you've got hardwood over here as well. So they're going to have a lot of different flooring there. So now I'm leaning towards this has not been remodeled. So now I'm not quite sure why the price went from $729,000 last year to $1 million. And I could be completely off base. Like they may have done something. It might have been just testing the market. I don't really know. But, this is what buyers see. And so I'm treating this just the way a buyer would treat it if they were looking for a home. And a buyer goes into all the same information that I'm looking at. So why was this listed before for $729,000? What did they do to make it $275,000 more than it was listed last time? I'm looking at this picture again, and again, it's not looking remodeled. One thing I'm going to talk about in here are plants. Plants, I love them in the house. They don't look great in photos necessarily. Like this one just looks like it's hanging out there. I'm sure it looks really nice in the house, but it just does not look great here. Now, one other thing I'm noticing in this kitchen is, first of all, the floor. I'm not loving the floor, but you're looking directly into this other house next door. So I want you to be very wary of the photos that's showing things like that. Not that you can avoid it necessarily, but when you're putting your pictures out, you want to make sure there's nothing that's going to give like a reason why somebody might not come into the house. And if there is a house that's super close next door, that might be a reason that somebody may rule out your home. So it's not a terrible picture. This one isn't that bad. You probably can't avoid it here, but I just want you all to keep that in mind, how close the homes are when you are shooting them from different parts of the room. Okay, now one thing here that people are going to see, that I see, that you as a seller may not see that you've adapted to is this cooktop is in the middle of this island. I see that there's seating over here, so this is kind of okay, but a lot of people do not love the cooktop right there in the island. It's just not something that they love, just because you might have people sitting there. It just can get messy. So just something to keep in mind. And again, you can see that there's two different types of flooring here. Now, this kitchen doesn't look old, but it doesn't look new either. And the way I can really tell is because these cabinets do not go up very high. The newer cabinets are going to go up higher. So, I am not thinking that these were painted. They could have been painted and this could have been an old kitchen, but having shorter cabinets is really going to show me right here that this kitchen is not super updated, even though they have the white cabinetry. Now, also you have this stuff up top here on top of the cabinets. And some people when they're living there, they like it because it just feels more cozy and more comfortable. If you're selling your home, you want to take everything off of those top cabinets. Those should all go for sure, no question. So now I'm still sort of saying, why did this home go from $729,000 to $1 million list in a year? I'm not sure. I'm not seeing that it's really updated. I mean, it looks like a decent home. $1 million may be priced right. I don't know. I'm going to look into it after this. The staging looks okay. Again, the plants. Don't love the plants for pictures. It's actually okay if you wanted to have plants for showings. I wouldn't mind this one if they had removed the plant for pictures and then had put it back in. It just kind of fills the room a little bit too much. This picture is not really necessary and it just shows kind of a messy closet. I just don't love showing a lot of people's personal belongings. If your closet is super neat and it's maybe color coordinated and it's very sparse and it looks kind of like a showroom, then definitely show it. But I probably would not include this picture. So now these are fine pictures. It's okay staging. It's a little dull and boring. And I just want to talk a little bit about this light that is there. Now, you guys asked me about the lighting, the color of the lighting. And you need to be aware that you don't want the bright, 5,000 K lights. It feels like a hospital room. Now, this feels a little cool. So you have to be very careful. You do not want your bedrooms feeling cool like this. Maybe in a bathroom where you need quite a bit of light. This is a kitchen, maybe sometimes once in a while, but in a bedroom, this is definitely going to cause people to feel very uncomfortable when they walk into the bedroom. One thing I'm noticing here is there is no recessed lighting in any of these rooms. And if you are thinking your house is maybe a little dark, I love recessed lighting. I love having it put in. I love it in my house. It's easy. You can dim it. You can change the color of the lighting, not to red or green or anything like that, but you can change the tone so it can go cooler or warmer, whatever you're really looking for. Now, this one, I just want to mention, if you can see right here, is there is a video camera in this room. In different states, it's going to be different disclosures that you have to do, because I always feel when I'm showing a house that I'm always going to think that I'm being recorded. Always just the way it's going to be. However, you really need to tell your agent if you are recording or you are watching, because it's really not okay if you're overseeing them. I know they're in your house, but they really do need to know. Now, as an agent, I do feel like everywhere I'm going in a house is being recorded, but it is just something to talk with your agent about and see if it's something you need to disclose. In some states, you have to disclose it. You cannot record people without their consent. So this is all fine. It just, it looks a little dark, I'm going to say. Now there they do have some recessed lights, but that looks like it's a walkout basement of some sort. And the house feels okay. It's got an okay backyard. It's fine. I mean, the yellow is okay. And that's it. Okay, so now let me dig into this house and look a little bit further and just to see, what is the reason they raised it? Did the market go up like crazy there? Are they correct in their pricing? So I'm looking to see one-of-a-kind farm-style home in the Ridge at Fox Run. It's a stunning farm-style home nestled in the highly sought-after Ridge at Fox Run community. So that's going to tell me that this suburb or this area is probably a big deal. People really, really want to be in there. So I'm going to guess that there was a comp that sold in here at a high price, and these sellers were like, hey, we tried it last year, but now these other comps sold, so now we can jack up our price and see what we're going to get. Now you can see this says it's 3 days on Zillow with 730 views and 42 saves. I get my sellers reaching out to me all the time and saying, well, on Zillow, it's doing great, and we got all these saves, and, I had all these views. I want you to take that with a grain of salt, okay? I don't want you to think that is exactly what's going on. Of course, you want more views, and if you have more views, that's great, especially saves. That's pretty good too. I will say 42 saves is probably pretty good. But again, I'm not really sure, is this home priced correctly? Okay, so now I'm just gonna kind of look at the details and then I'll go into some of the sold homes in the area. So it's on almost half an acre, $235 a square foot, great. Now the Zestimate says it is not available here. So can't really tell what the Zestimate is saying it's worth. Okay, one thing that Zillow does do that I think is pretty helpful, I do my own digging in research as well, but you can see that they give you a couple of nearby homes that might be comps down below. So now this one I'm going to say sold here. These are just off market, so I want to see one that's sold. And this is saying that it's nearby. May or may not be, but it's sold for $866. The house we're looking at right now is listed for $1 million. So let's take a look at this house. So you can see it looks like it's going to rain there, right? I will tell you the best pictures when they're being taken are actually when there is an overhead cloud, because it doesn't give you really, really harsh shadows. If it is a very, very bright day and you're trying to take pictures, you're gonna have some really significant harsh shadows, which are very hard to lessen. I don't love that. So an overcast day is actually a better day to take pictures. This looks like it's gonna kind of storm, and I don't really love the energy in this picture. So I probably would have had them do a blue sky on this one, but this house already sold, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm just kind of looking at the condition on the inside to see if it's any different than what we were looking at before. The kitchen is okay. It's older, does have hardwood floors throughout, and it is 5 bedrooms, 4 baths, and it is 4,500 square feet. So, that is a comp. It's empty, so they might have been a little bit more anxious to sell. They are showing this basement. So I think the comp house that we're looking at is a little bit better than this one. I don't know if the location is any better. You can see this has got some deferred maintenance. I don't know if that's in the same exact area. Okay, so I did my research. It looks like it's literally right around the corner. So that house at $866 sold is really a good comp to this one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to find some homes directly in that area that have sold like in the last, I'm going to try the last 6 months or so. Let's see if we can try finding any homes that have sold in the last 6 months. Okay, so now we're going to go over to that location. Okay, so now we're at homes in this kind of area that sold in the last 6 months, and I'm seeing a home that sold kind of around the corner for $985, and this house sold in October of last year. So this could have been a house that sold that the sellers are trying to comp their house to. It's 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, 4,200 square feet, so it's a little bit smaller. So this is a nice twilight picture. Those always look good. It looks so much different than a regular daytime picture, but they're not absolutely necessary, but they do look nice. Like that looks a little generic right there. So we're looking to see, what does this look like? It looks pretty hardwood floors, pretty basic. Not much going on in here. Kind of an older kitchen. I'm going to say it's kind of a little bit of a tight layout. That's just my gut. It seems pretty comparable to the house that we were looking at, truly. So let me go and look at kind of a little more stats about these houses. This has a nice little backyard, open area there. This is a pretty good comp, I would say. It's on almost half an acre like the other one. It's a little bit smaller, and it was listed for $985 in September, and it sold for $985. I can see where the sellers are saying that their house might be worth this. It does have one less bathroom, it looks like, and it did sell last October. So now these people might have put their house on the market last year in April for $729. They took it off the market, and then this one comes on and they're like, wow, look at that. Look how much we can get for that. So maybe that's why then they relisted it. I could be wrong, but that's actually a pretty good comp. So now let's look at this one. We've got this one sold as well, and it's on the same street. So it sold for $979, 5 bedrooms, 4 baths at 4,500 square feet. This is a good comp too. When I'm looking at this, I think it might have another car garage, but let me see the inside here. This is a nice view, obviously. This nice 2-story foyer. The kitchen looks a little newer, but Still seems like it's in range. I mean, this house is a little bit nicer, I would say, but not by a ton. If this seller had been talking to me about pricing, of course, I always defer to the local agents in the area. This one is probably no different. The problem is that the market may have shifted. That may be what's going on right now. But let me tell you, this house hasn't actually been on the market that long. They took it off and they put it back on. So I'm going to check in, I don't know, in a month or so and see if it's still listed. It may or may not be, but this could be interesting. So this is what I want all of you to think about, is that if there are a couple comps in your neighborhood that are high prices and maybe you didn't think you could get that much, this is where you really need to put in the effort to make sure the home shows really, really well. So again, I probably would rework this. This house would really, really benefit from some staging in this main living space, I'm thinking. It feels very, very comfortable, but I really do think it could benefit from some different furniture being swapped out. Now, I don't know. This house could sell. This house could sell at this price. So I'm not necessarily going to say this is unsellable yet. I'll check back on it and we'll see. We'll see if it goes under contract. If you guys, and I've talked about this before, I love going through the Zillow stuff and looking at the homes. If you're feeling kind of stuck on what is good, what is bad, what to update in your house, what you shouldn't update in your house, I want to make sure you download my seller's playbook. Talked about it many times, been downloaded over 15,000 times. But this will help you kind of get a start. And I'm not spamming you. I'm not doing anything. It's really actually almost a full book that you can use to figure out what you need to update in your house, how to stage, how to choose an agent. It gives you a couple checklists, how to make sure your house looks great. So go ahead and download that. All right, so let's dig into this other house. So it is in Nevada, and it is $1 million, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, 2,900 square feet. It's pretty high, right? So let me just take a look and see. What do I think? Now, I don't love this picture with the covered car in the front driveway. That is not doing anything for me. So this home has actually been on the market for about 6 months now. So I just want to kind of go and show you something really, really interesting. So this is the Zillow Zestimate. And the Zestimate will tell you how much your home is worth. Now, the Zestimate is based upon homes that are active and homes that have sold in your direct area. So homes that are comps, square footage, bedrooms, bathrooms, things like that. It doesn't take into consideration condition. It doesn't take into consideration like if it's in a bad location or something like that. So it gives you the number based upon what else is on the market. But the interesting thing that you can see here is when they listed, it was worth $642,000. And then the reason that their estimate jumped up is because they listed their house. So you can see that right now it's kind of gone down a little bit. But you have to keep that in mind, is that Zillow is just a rough idea. And this may or may not be right. I don't really pay a lot of attention to this. It's sort of like just a data point in the back of my mind that Zillow had thought that this was 642, when they listed it. So just something to be considering when you're looking at these homes. So now this does say it's remodeled. It's a cabin. So let me, and that might be a little bit different market. It might be kind of a vacation market. I'm not sure. It could be. Again, don't love the car in the front with the cover on top. That's just not, I don't love that. Inside looks okay. So now this is like a kind of a luxury vinyl plank there. It looks like, that looks okay. It doesn't look great. It looks okay, not bad. It's very durable. I love LVP for a lot of homes, especially for homes that you're living in. I love engineered hardwood floors. I did that whole video on flooring. This seems a little bit like it might have been just put in for showing and selling the home. So if that's the case, it might be a little bit not as expensive. I could be wrong. I just don't really love the way that looks. It's okay. I mean, this house looks staged. Again, I could be wrong. So now this rug is actually totally fine. If you're thinking you're going to stage your house, like this is the type of rug I want you to get. Something very simple and kind of neutral that just works and kind of centers a room. So that rug is actually pretty good for staging. Yeah, so I'm going to say this is staged, and that was a beautiful view. This kitchen is nice. Kitchen's real nice, very open. That's a gorgeous setting. So this bed, don't love the bed, the bedding. The bed's okay. The pillows and the bedding look used. Of course it's used, people live there. But when you're doing your beds in the house, I want you to think about hotel room. Like if you walked into a hotel room and saw this bed there, you'd be like, oh gosh, this doesn't look very good. So you want it to be like it's luxurious when people are coming into the bedroom, especially the master bedrooms. You want them to feel like it's their space. You don't want them to feel like you're intruding in their private area. It's just not good. So this is all nice, very nice, good home. It's updated, feeling like it's working. I do like this blue. Not necessarily to sell, but I really like that. I think that's nice. I mean, the whole house is pretty much updated. This is great. Oh, beautiful out there. This is gorgeous, right? Absolutely gorgeous. So now why is this sitting? Why has this been on the market so long? There's not much here about this. This is not a huge, amount of information. I feel like the house has more to offer than just that. So now I'm kind of thinking, it looks good. Maybe their market's down. So now if you are on the market for, a long time, okay? And I don't know if in this marketplace this is a long time or not, but if you're on the market for a long time, you got to be thinking about the price. Everything's going to sell for a price. And those of you who are my avid followers, those of you who know exactly what I'm going to say, and those of you who tell other sellers in the Facebook group what I typically say, well, Kati says, you're going to say the price is too high. And it may be. And that is my default, is if a home isn't selling, or if you have 2 weeks, no showings, or 15 showings and no offers, your price is too high. That's kind of your rule of thumb. Now, here's the one caveat that I want to give to you. And I've been seeing this come up in the Facebook group a little bit. If you have a very, very unique property. Somebody in the Facebook group posted that there was, I think it was a 20-acre land that they had, and there are not a lot of exact comps. And so the problem is that you don't know what the market value, you may be able to figure out the appraised value, especially if you bring in an appraiser, but you don't know what that market value is. And so if it's a very unique property where very, very few people are bidding on, I'm going to tell you, I know you guys are going to be like, I can't believe you just said that. So if it's a super unique property, I actually like to test the market a little bit higher, because if you underprice that and you only have one specific buyer looking for that type of property, then, they might purchase it at that price, and then you don't really know where your price really fell. So if you have a really unique property, like let's say this is a super unique property, the market is fine, it's average. I might have tried this, at a higher price for a month or so just to kind of see where it's at. But you need enough people to come through to tell you what they're thinking on the price. I don't know if this is a super unique property, but let me take a look and just see what Zillow says are the comparable homes. Okay, so here's one that sold for $750. Now, I want to see how long ago this was, because it could have been a long time ago. Okay, so this sold just now. Okay, so this just sold. Comparatively, it's going to be a great comp. It's on the same street. So now let's see how big this is. 4 bedrooms, 4 baths, 2,800 square feet. It does have a bit more square footage. I mean, it's going to be probably a close similarity, I'm thinking. Kind of this wood cabin feel, so it could be unique. Maybe it's like an Airbnb type thing. Very unique on the inside. This isn't going to be for everybody, but this definitely is the area. The furniture works really well with the house. Very cozy and comfortable. This isn't the type of house that you'd want to stage with like super modern furniture. So I know a lot of people say they need to do that, but this is the type of house you want it just to be clean and crisp, no deferred maintenance at all. It's got to be very, very clean. So you can see it's just a probably, I'm going to say, an unpolished potential house, which is one of my favorites in my seller's playbook. It means that there's really no deferred maintenance and you can move in and kind of do work over time. Now, I don't love this floor with this kitchen. I don't think it really works. I don't know. They probably loved it for themselves, but it is very, very durable. It looks like it's a tile, actually, which is going to be, very, very durable. And it's okay. I just personally prefer wooden kitchens myself. I know you were going to say, why would you put wooden kitchens? I love wooden kitchens. So this is all solid. The other house seems a little bit more updated, but you can't dispute that this is a comp. So let's just see this location. So it doesn't have as good of a view as the other one. Definitely. So it's hard to say if this one really is a comp or not. I mean, it is on paper. Okay, this is where I want you to understand is that this sold for $750,000. This is an appraised comp, but somebody may pay more because they want the better location. And that's something that Zillow cannot tell you about. So let me just see if there's another comp I can find to kind of put it in range here. Well, what I'm seeing is actually a lot of homes that are for sale. So their market might be a little bit saturated. Yeah, there's a lot for sale here. So what I want to do is I'm just going to dig in real quick into the actual location and see if I can find a better comp. One thing I don't love about Zillow is their map. I have a really hard time with it, but I'm also directionally challenged. So it could be me. I don't know. So I usually have to go into a couple of different apps to kind of see where it is. Oh, here we are. There's some things I'm really not good at. One is directions and the other is keys. I have the hardest time opening up lockboxes. I know it's ridiculous and crazy. So anyway, okay, so I found it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at all the homes that have sold over there. And now I'm going to go into figure out sold in the last, we'll do the last 6 months and let's just see how many have sold there. Yeah, I'm seeing this one here. Let's see what that looks like, 850. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2,500 square feet. It's about the same square footage. And the other one's a little nicer on the inside, I would say. Let's look and see if we can see the backyard. That's nice. That's kind of comparable, I would say. Not as nice, but it's kind of comparable. And that's 850. Okay. So now let's see if I can find it again. Because I am really, really directionally challenged. So the problem is that I'm not seeing anything. I'm seeing the 750 one that we looked at. So let's go back and look in the last 12 months. I'm still not seeing, I'm seeing the 850 one. Let me just make sure this one's still in the same area. Yeah, so that one's right here. I know, you guys always guess. I always say the price is too high. But, it's hard right now with the market shifting across the country to exactly say what's going on unless you're talking to a local agent. So in that specific location, I don't know what that market is doing. Based on what I'm seeing is that the price is too high. Now, everything will sell for a price. If I listed that house at $1, it's definitely going to sell, right? And I know that sounds simplistic. So it's really at this point in the market right now, especially as markets across the country are shifting. They're going up, they're going down in all different areas. I understand Chicago and I understand Florida because that's where I sell real estate. And because of that, you can see Florida, the market is actually sort of okay, but we're getting a lot of referrals down in Southwest Florida, and it is really, really difficult. The homes there are sitting on the market. So that's a tough one. And in Chicago, there's no inventory. I'm on the North Shore of Chicago, and there's no inventory there at all. So the homes are flying off the market. 2 different markets. That's why it's really, really significant for you to make sure that you're talking to a local agent. So I'm going to guess on this one that the price is too high. Now, I know I didn't give you a definitive answer. Maybe that's a cop-out. Are these truly unsellable? Well, right now, maybe. The first one only has been on the market a couple of days, but their market had shifted. So that might be going up. And this home has been on the market for 6 months. So that market might definitely be shifting. So I'm going to say that I'm going to check back on these for sure. I'll keep you posted when I go live on this video about whether or not these are under contract. But you guys know I always have a ton of videos for you. I want to make sure that if you have found this video successful and you've stayed until the end, I want you to subscribe because it definitely helps push us out to other people. It just gives us a lot more energy, excitement, and it's kind of a personal favor to me if you felt like you've enjoyed this video. Also, I have my private Facebook group, which is for people who are thinking about selling their homes in 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years. It can be for anybody. You can post your pictures there, and I'll try and answer anything that you have. We're getting a lot of people in there, so I'm maybe a day or two behind on all of my answers, but I will definitely engage and get to every single question that you have. So go ahead, join the Facebook group, and as you know, if you guys always need an agent, I'm here for you as well. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.